Let's look at 5G deployment scenarios. Okay, it is called as NSA and SA. Okay, so in the previous slide you have seen how the architecture looks. So this is very similar. So what I showed in the previous picture, so that is very similar. This is the UE, this is the UE, and this part is the RAN. Okay, radio access network, and this part is the core network. Okay, it is the same thing. It is shown in a different way. That's all. So now you may ask me, okay, why are we looking at deployment? Deployment means basically implementation of a 5G network. Okay, so why should we even understand about 5G implementation? Okay, because this is a valid question. Why we should think of implementation is because during 4G we did not really think of implementation part as a new person, right? If I'm understanding the technology in 4G, there was 3G technology. Okay, so there was 3G. So the technology moved from 3G to 4G. So when they did that, they had to change the entire network, hardware and software, because 3G was so different from 4G. They had to totally switch from 3G to 4G. So if you see today, we don't have 3G, right? We only have 2G and 4G. 3G is almost not there. So because the switch had to be complete, so it was too expensive to change from 3G to 4G. But in 5G, that is not the case. Okay, because it will be too expensive for operators, especially the hardware cost will be so much to switch that nobody would pick 5G if it is that expensive. So that is the reason they gave some kind of an option where you can do that switch gradually. Okay, so that's why we are learning about implementation. So if you look at the two pictures here, right, one is written as non-standalone, which is also called as NSA, and the other one is called as standalone, which is called as SA. So you need to remember this terminology whenever you're talking about 5G to someone, right? They may use this terminology. They may say it is NSA, it is SA. Okay, what it means is non-standalone and standalone deployment. Okay, that deployment is self-explanatory. If you look at this picture, right, in a non-standalone mode, what happens is you are connecting to a 5G network, but it is not fully 5G. There is also 4G connection that is in place. So what happens is, if you look at these dotted lines, it means it is a control information, and this is the data information. Data information is the information that as a user you are going to see. Okay, you may be watching a video over 5G, you may be talking to your friend, all that is data. Control is something which happens in the back end, which we are not aware of. So if you look in a non-standalone mode, what happens is your 5G phone, right? This is a 5G phone. It connects basically to a 4G network. Okay, and then 4G does that connection with the 5G network. Okay, because it's a non-standalone. That means it's not a pure 5G network. It's not a pure 5G network. So there is some 4G in the back end, and that 4G helps you connect to the 5G network. Okay, that's what is non-standalone. Now, if you look at standalone, right, it is straightforward. If you want to connect to 4G, it will connect to a pure 4G network. If you want to connect to 5G, it will connect to a pure 5G network. So there is no 4G here, right? There are no lines like this in between, right, between these two. So that's what is the difference between non-standalone and standalone 5G network.
So at a time, both 4G and 5G will be operated by a network, by an operator?
Yes, at a time, in the sense your device, if it has the capability to connect to 4G and 5G, if the 5G is not available, it will fall back to 4G.
Okay. Operator will have both?
Operator should have both, correct. Operator should also have both.
Okay.
Now, so if you look at today, right, this is the mode that is being used in India. Okay, non-standalone, because all operators have 4G. They're slowly migrating to 5G. So if you take a 5G phone today, it's going to have like this kind of a deployment. The only challenge here is, so whatever we discussed previously about those features, right, like URLLC, MMTC, all that low latency, especially the low latency and ultra reliable kind of communication, right, that is not really possible with the non-standalone. Okay, it needs to have a standalone kind of network. So that's why I said URLLC is still work in progress. Okay. While high data rate like EMBB case, that can be done in non-standalone.
Yeah, just one question. So is it only in India that we have deployed non-standalone, or all over the world that penetration rate chart that you have shown that it is only non-standalone, or some countries have moved to standalone?
Okay, they all started with non-standalone, like Korea, US. They all started with non-standalone, but now they have in certain regions they have standalone networks. Okay, somebody is asking what is EPC? EPC is Evolved Packet Core. So Evolved Packet Core. So if you look at my previous slide, right, in the architecture, I said there are three things: UE, RAN, and core network. So in 4G, it was called as EPC. In 5G, it is called as 5GC. Okay, that's the difference. So basically, the architecture is same. This is the UE, this is the RAN part, and this is the core network. In 4G, it is called as EPC.
Hello, sir. This process is applicable in all over the world, no?
Yes, all over the world, correct. So I'm the founder of company DTRI. So it's an upskills company where we do embedded systems, IoT, and 5G technology certification programs. And we also do placement for engineering students. So you can contact us. So there is a website that you can visit, dtri.in. You can also connect through, you can send me an email, or you can also send WhatsApp message on this number if you have any questions. So please join our LinkedIn group. So you can type Deshila Technology Research Institute on LinkedIn, and you can join our page there. And you can also ask questions there, and also about any new events that we are conducting. So we frequently update this page with our events. And just to give you a quick glimpse of what we are doing in terms of research. So so we are based out of Mysore in Karnataka, and we have our own 5G test bed. So this is the picture of 5G test bed, which is used for education purpose. So if you see here, I've written the use cases. So we use it for EMBB focused configuration, some kind of testing and all that, mainly used for education and research. And we have collaborated with the Institute of Science, Bangalore. Department of Science and Technology has funded this program, and we are based at SJC Step Mysore.